Hello, hello, hello. I am tickled to be here. I'm tickled to be indoors because it's hot and steamy outside and it's pouring. But since I am indoors, I have the air conditioning on. Please leave a comment to let me know if the air conditioning noise is distracting. I never know how loud it is as it picks up. So let me know if the air conditioner is giving a really loud buzzing noise, and I'll turn it off and sweat for you. I will suffer for you. I do turn the air conditioner off typically when I film videos because it's right next to where the camera is. So let me know. I have so much to tell you today. I have a list and I'm pretty excited. And I dropped something, but I don't know what that is. So let's see. I appreciate all of the kind words that people have been checking on me. Yes, I do live where it's flooding. If you've been seeing in the news, the Northeast United States has been under quite a lot of rain. It's pouring again. I'm getting ready to build an ark. Janet, thank you so much for letting me know I can leave the air conditioning on. I appreciate that. It's only in the mid 80s, but it's super steamy just with all the rain. So thanks for letting me breathe. Yeah, we are getting tons and tons of rain. There's a lot of flooding. I'm fine. I live on a mountains. My culverts are holding. So the water, we just try to keep it going around the house as it goes down the mountain. Our road has been cut off a few times, but it's been nothing serious. There is some very serious flooding up here though. So best wishes and hopes for all of you who are stuck in the lower lands where it's flooding. Hello, hello. I'm glad everybody's here. Let's see what else is new. What else is new? I have tea. I had a tea emergency. I only drink caffeinated tea in the morning because I don't sleep very well if I drink it after that. This is my morning cup of tea. Shh, yes, I'll be up late tonight. So I haven't had any caffeine yet, but I was out of my caffeinated tea. And I was really excited that I heard the mail truck come and drop it off as water was boiling. This is Harney, which is a local tea company. It's Harney Chai. Hello, Carol. Welcome home. So I have scheduled your newsletter to go out while I'm talking to you today. So you should get that once we're done. I've been quilting a lot, finishing a lot, posting a lot on social media. So I'm really, really pleased with how much this rain has kept me stitching. It was really hot and then really raining, so I stay inside. Ooh, cloudy in Massachusetts, waiting for the rain. It's coming. I tell my husband, I'm like, oh, it's gonna rain. He said, really? I haven't looked. I'm like, you don't have to look. It's gonna rain. Because yeah, joints. And especially where I broke my collarbone, I really feel that. Let's see. Looking for more messages. Okay. So yeah, I've been staying inside quilting. I've been shipping off quilts. I really feel like I'm starting to really get back in the groove because I'm finally in my sewing room all the time. Instead of I had a nest in the living room for several months, made it as far as the kitchen for about a month or two, kitchen table, and now I'm back in the sewing room. Fabric is flying. It's fabulous. Having so much fun. Hello, Sandal. How are you? I hope you are well where you are. So I have some pictures to show you because it's really dark. And I ran outside this morning right before it started raining while there was a little bit of sun to get some pictures. Let's see. Janet, you're 95 and humid in South Carolina. Oh, I hope you get some rain. Nothing like we've had. But it is nice to be off the drought map for once for us. So stay inside in the air conditioning. I know that the Southwest U.S. is hitting like 115. I have friends in Arizona who post the daily temperature, and so I know that there are people who are catching on fire. We'll put the fire out. If we could just share our weather, it would work out. And this rain is no big deal other than when we leave the house, we're not sure if we're going to come right back or not, if the road, if all the roads will be open once we go to the lowland. Because it floods. Our roads always flood where I live, and our bridge washed out 2 years ago, and the bridge has held so far, so we're pretty excited about that. It's the third bridge we've had in the 21 years. Yeah, I bought the house in 2002. 21 years we've been in this house. We've had 3 bridges. 2 of them have washed away in heavy rain, hurricane type stuff. So about quilting. Let me pull up some quilts for you, because I can't show you. It's so dark in here. See if I got some pictures that'll work out. I'm pulling up. So in color blocks, I finished quilting A Clowder of Cats, which was the quilt I put out in January, before I became too ill to quilt it. So let me pull up the photos. There we go. I will share it with you now. I know last week I forgot to share the photos with you. So where am I? Love the chicks on your board. What fun. Thank you. I have those to talk about too. The very top comment is a link to the pattern book where I'm sewing that out of. So let me share this picture. So I just got that quilt out of the washer. This is my Clowder of Cats, and I made an orange cat, a gray cat, a black cat, and a calico cat. And I had a lot of fun quilting it. It got a little wrinkled in the dryer. That'll hang out. But I took some close-ups of how I quilted it. I put yarn in the border, which was really fun for me. I had a cat named Nebula. I'm from Pittsburgh originally, and Nebby, like my name is Debbie with an N, Nebby, means somebody who is obnoxiously curious. Like if a mom is on the phone and the kids are going, "Who is it? What are they saying? What's going on, mom?" You say, "Stop that. Stop being so Nebby," which is a great name for a cat. So I had a cat named Nebby, but my name's Debbie, and that's kind of weird. So we gave her a long name instead of a nickname. So her long name was Nebula, and she was the only female cat we had. We only had her a year. She clawed through a screen and got out, and we never got her back. But in your color blocks class, I show you how I quilted these balls of yarn. And I traced a spool of yarn to get the circle, and then free motion quilted inside of it. So that is in Color Blocks 2023, Color Blocks Go Wild. The quilt is A Clowder of Cats. And then I stitched faces on the cats. The cat faces don't show up very well on the white cats, the gray cats, the orange cats, but you can play with your thread colors if you wanted to show up. I kind of like having the subtlety of, are there faces? Like you can kind of see a little shadow in there, a little shadow in there. But I'm really happy to have that quilt done. And I already have 2 people who are wondering why it hasn't been mailed to them yet, but I'm keeping it. As I was quilting it, I wasn't so sure the yarn was going to show up because the markings on it were so dark, and it's been so dark with all the rain. But we got a couple minutes of sunshine, and I was able to get a picture. But I really like the way that yarn turned out. So let me stop this and come back and see you. Hello. Let's see. The yarn balls are so cute. Yeah, okay. So whenever we had that cat, we didn't live in this house. And her name, we picked her up at a hockey game. Excuse me. My kids played roller hockey, town roller hockey, on roller skates in the parking lot. And, they put up a rink in a parking lot. And somebody came with a basket of cats to give away, kittens. So we got her. She was mean. She was just mean and has turned me off girl cats. If you see, any TikTok videos or internet videos of mean cats that are like rah, 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 biting, that was my Nebula. And she would get into any yarn that was made of a natural fiber. She didn't like polyester, but wool, cotton, she was all over it. Linen, the expensive good stuff. And I lived in a modern townhouse that had all different levels of floors, and it was an open floor plan. So I had railings, like half walls. Sorry, hiccups. Half walls and railings between everything. So I had a railing from the sewing room, a railing from the dining room, a railing halfway up the stairs. She would take a ball of yarn and run up the stairs, and I would wake up in the morning and it would be spider webbed from 2 stories up from the landing, through the railing, down to the living room, around the sofa, up into the next room. So I put the balls of yarn there for her. And when I quilted it, I was like, well, I put way too much time into that. and it's not going to show, but I guess it's okay. Let me hide that. Just checking comments. Sorry, I was playing around with the comments. It's not going to show. And then once I washed it last night and took pictures this morning, like the second I got up, I've been working, getting your newsletter out, editing videos, stuff like that, but running outside my pajamas to get a picture before the rain came. Because, showering can wait, which is why the hair is still wet, but I knew what I needed to get done before this video. They showed up much better than I expected them to, and I'm really excited about it. So that is free for everyone. If you are not a member of Color Blocks Goes Wild, Color Blocks 2023, it's animals. And if you are new, it's an abbreviated year because I was down with COVID for 4 months, and I took that time off. I really needed to concentrate on getting well. So I don't have a quilt out every month, but I have gone back and finished January's quilt, and the Ladybugs is July's quilt, which is already basted up and ready for me to quilt today. So that's one thing that's in your newsletter. You can join the class. It's free. Go to the class, go to Color Blocks at debbiebrownquilts.com, click on online classes, go to Color Blocks Goes Wild, and it's free in there. The pattern is free. In all of the Color Blocks class, there should be a pattern each month, or this year abbreviated, and machine quilting video to go with it. Then on top of that, I have a subscriber only video section, and it's called As the Bobbin Turns. And it's where I put other things that don't go out as YouTube videos, that don't go out on social media. That's just for the people who've asked, how can I support you? So it's either a monthly or a small monthly or annual fee that you get things that nobody else gets. See, Molly, I am doing great. We've had so much rain and so much humidity, and I've never handled it well. Even when I was a skinny little kid, I have trouble breathing. Just when it's so humid, nobody can breathe. If I would not have survived if all of this weather with just one little air conditioning unit in this one room through all of this, if I had had any lung damage at all. And since I have other autoimmune issues, and since it was so profound, I was dealing with pulmonology, and they've done all sorts of lung tests. I have none, like no lung damage from COVID. I have other things like all the medication I was on grew my steroids. All the steroids I was on grew my cataracts, things like that. I'll take it, but my lungs are perfect and life is beautiful. So in As the Bobbin Turns, I have another video out for subscribers this week, and I'll show you what that was. Let me pull up those photos because this only lets me pull up one photo set at a time. So this is here, and this is here, and this is here. So I'll load that one. Okay, let me share it with you. This was also in the washing machine, so you'll see a few wrinkles. I needed a baby quilt, and I needed a quick baby quilt. I grabbed a packet, just a handful of color blocks that I'd already pieced. I piece color blocks whenever I feel like doing something that doesn't require any thinking, or as leaders and enders. And I have a stack of color blocks, probably 15 inches tall, with more coming. So whenever I recently did a guild trunk show of color blocks, and people were asking me, how long did it take you to make that quilt? I'm like, well, the quilt took me like 3 hours to piece. They're like, you pieced that whole thing in 3 hours? And the answer is yes, because the blocks are already made. I'm just sewing it together. When you do that, it's like just sewing a block. They're just longer seams. So I needed a quick baby quilt. This is what I decided. This pattern was a color block pattern from the 2021 color blocks, which is also still free, but not for much longer. So you can get the pattern for free there. And in the video, I show you how I quilted it. I quilted it with feathers in the squares and triangles, and I quilted it with continuous curve in the piecing. Now, in the class, I show you, let's go back, I show you how to how to do continuous curve in partial blocks, because you're not going to be able to get all the way to the corner of a square because I've cut it off. For color blocks, I intentionally made sure that you don't have to match any seams. You don't have to match your piecing together, which is why there's sashing between everything. I cut the triangle blocks not in half because I don't want to have to go through the seams and match those. So these are intentionally off, which is great for piecing and can be a little confusing for quilting. So that is that quilt will be shipped out shortly. Now that it's for my friend's grandson, and I have a few more quick gift quilts I need to make, and I do go to my color blocks just because I have stacks of them, and more can be made pretty quickly and easily. I think I can make about 15, 17 blocks an hour if I really just sit and make them, but I usually do them as leaders and enders. The feathers in that quilt, you can learn that in my online feather class, which is Quilting Essentials Machine Quilted Feathers. Speaking of that, tomorrow night is lesson 10 of the online feather along that I've been doing, which leads me to wonder, what are we going to do next? And this is where I am asking for input. I have other things that I have planned, but my calendar got a little weird this year. I'm going to need to take some time off in the fall to do some family stuff. And I have a few surprises that I'm working on now, so that I will still have new content coming out, but I might not have regular live videos. So do you want another series for the rest of the summer? Are there questions you want to have answered? I will gladly respond to what you're interested in, but I have ideas as well. So I'm just throwing it out there to see what we're going to do next week, because after tomorrow, I don't have Wednesday nights planned anymore. Let's see. The feathered wreath that you saw in the As the Bobbin Turns video on that monkey wrench quilt, I made that using a clamshell ruler. Now I am doing a clean out now that I'm back in my sewing room. So I have put these rulers on sale. If you have a machine that takes 1/4-inch rulers, which is a long arm machine or a high shank sewing machine, these are 1/4-inch rulers, and this is one of the tools I use most often. So these are normally $29.95. They're down to $19.95 today, and when they're gone, they're gone. So if you've been wanting to get one, this is a good time. I have a link in your newsletter that's coming out, or you can just go to debbiebrownquilts.com, type in clam in the search bar, and this will show up for you, and you'll get $10 off. So I have that going. There'll be some sales coming up as I was just trying to streamline and simplify some things. Let's see. So I talked about the multi-clamshell, the monkey wrench, the Clowder of Cats. So this quilt behind me, I am using the As the Bobbin Turns, the subscriber videos, as a reason for me to finish my UFOs. So last September, October, I was on a quilt retreat with a friend, and I started making this quilt. It is made with scraps of, I can't remember, Big Bang fabric. So this is all chemistry, physics, chalkboard, science fabric. And my husband plays in a band, and his guitar, my husband's a drummer. His guitar player is a physics teacher. So he's the only person in the band who doesn't have a quilt. So this is for him. And his family. So I'll be finishing that. Last week, I showed you the Kobe quilt that I made, which was from Gudrun Erla, who's a friend of mine and someone whose work I admire greatly. I am a huge Lori Holt fan. She's Bee in My Bonnet. I've made several of her quilts. I love her work. We are not friends. She does not know who I am. I would squeal like a teenage Johnny Depp fan or whatever if I met her, because I'm such a huge fan. So anyway, this is in her Farm Girl Vintage book, and in her book, it's all of these different blocks, and then she has different ways to set them. So like here is setting the milk can, and this is what I'm making for Frank. And that hopefully will be in As the Bobbin Turns when I get quilted. I have some really, really fun ruler quilting ideas for it. So I'll be showing you that hopefully next week. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. and hopefully it doesn't rise this far. Oh my word, is that sun? The weather is so weird. I'm sorry. And I think I have a frog on my sliding glass door. Um, yeah, I have a frog on my sliding glass door. So anyway, that's how rainy it's been. Let's see. How about you talk about each of your classes? I can do that. Thank you. That's a great idea. I can talk about each of them. I will go through and do a week by week of them in the future, but I wanted to have a good 10 weeks because they're 10-week classes. I wanted to have a 10-week window for that, and I don't right now just because of the way, again, we have some family stuff going on that I'll need to take some time off this fall. So I cannot believe there's a frog on my door. That is so weird. Thank you. I'm writing that down. Class overview. You guys are so smart. Let's see. I have the next UFO under it is a Primitive Gatherings quilt, and it's made by Lisa, the designer of Primitive Gatherings. It's Bongean, and I don't know how to say her name. Bongean. I don't know. I'm also a huge fan of hers. So hopefully I'll have a Primitive Gatherings quilt on the wall to show you later. It's been fun. There's a frog moving on my door right there. It's so weird. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to look through my UFOs, to finish them, and to think of fun ways to quilt them, and then share it with you. So I have some fun chicken-themed quilting with rulers to do on this quilt if I get it finished piecing. Well, that is pretty much what I have to tell you. That was my list. Look for your newsletter. I set it to distribute at 2:30 this afternoon in New York time. If you aren't a subscriber to my newsletter, go to DebbieBrownQuilts.com, scroll down and subscribe. I will be back again tomorrow night at 7 o'clock New York time in Debbie Brown's Machine Quilting Studio and on YouTube, and we will talk about the very last lesson in the Feather Along. I still have the quilt from that. I've given away a lot of my samples over the years, but this is one that I kept. It has pride of placement in my living room. We're going to talk about filigree feathers, and they're going to be really fun. Let's see. Oh, Missy, you're late. It's okay. It'll archive. You'll be able to watch it again. But I'm glad you were able to tune in. Let's see. But I am going to go finish drinking my cup of tea, get some pictures of the frog if I can, and I will see you again tomorrow night in Debbie Brown's Machine Quilting Studio on Facebook or at Debbie Brown Quilts on YouTube. Happy quilting, everyone. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Bye.